Alright guys, so we're heading down to the pond now. Feed the fish. Maggie's little head.
So everybody wanted to know a little more about the Nova. Well, we go right past the Nova. Where's it at? You go over there and show it to them. Come on, you can walk right there. There ain't nothing right there. Come on, I'll go with you. This was before we see the copperhead.
You will see me lose my shoes.
It was going to be a drag. It was going to be a drag car. But then things got changed and it didn't make it.
Might have the tree growing through it, huh?
It ain't got no 4 fans in it. It's going to have a jig frame. Kind of rough looking now.
Yeah, Aaron's.
Hey, look at the tree. Look at the tree growing up through the door.
I know, that's what I was looking at a while ago.
That motor was a 406, wasn't it? Yeah. 406 and running it in the hobby class. The video from the other night in the old shop when I picked that piston up with the broke rod. Some of you guys may have been I don't know, you probably can't tell it on video, but it wasn't just a standard 350 piston. It was a dome piston, and it was a 406 that we had in one of them hobby cars, and we run it what, 3 or 4 times? About 4 times. And the 4th time, he said it looked like a NASA spaceship going down back straightaway. Well, the top about blew off of it first. Yeah, the roof was about to fall off. Then about 3 laps later, the motor let loose. Well, they do say it runs good before it blows, and it was running good.
Runs best before it blows. I've seen that to be true on a lot of cars.
So right here's the Camaro that we always talk about building. This was the very first race car that me and my dad built from the ground up. This was actually old. I think it was a '78 Camaro. It set out. I mean, heck, this thing sat out beside the garage ever since I was a little kid, and they never turned it into a race car or anything. So by the time I started racing, this class here was called a Thunder class. And you could run jig frames, but you had to have stock frame locations, and the firewall and the floor pans had to be stock to the front of the rear tires. So we bought this left-hander chassis, and this is the one we talked about paying $60 for. I'll tell you this now because I don't own this car no more, so actually what we done was the leaf spring perches on the front. We took and cut them out and just fabricated them around the left-hander chassis mount, so it was technically a left-hander chassis still, but we had some stock appearing mounts, and I always thought that was pretty cool and pretty neat. And that first picture there you saw had a bead lock on the right rear tire, and that's when they first started allowing us to run bead locks. And I'm talking about as soon as we pulled in the gate that night, the tech man came over there and stuck a magnet to it and was like, hey, you guys can't run this. This is an aluminum wheel, and I'd hate to see y'all get thrown out. So we got busted with that as soon as we pulled in the gate. We had never even took the car off the trailer, but you know, little did they know that that motor sitting in there was that 406 we was talking about, you know. And 406, you're supposed to have flat top pistons, basically a stock motor for this class, but yet we had dome pistons, big cubic inches and all that. And while my dad was talking about he thought the roof was going to blow off, I actually used to have a picture that showed the roof better than this one, but you can see right there, if you look right in the center of the roof, that was the night that motor blew up. And what happened? The bolt come out of the center of the roof right there at the halo, and as I was going around the track, it was it was sketchy. I really thought the roof was gonna blow off myself, but uh, shortly after that, that's when my dad said it looked like the NASA spaceship going down back straightaway. So we had rods laying everywhere. There's a couple of rods missing out of the motor. So, but that car there, that was a, it never went on the scales. I really think that would have been a really good race car if we would have ever had a chance to put it on scales and truly set it up. But we never did, and the shocks were just some shocks that we found in yard sales. I don't have a clue what kind of shocks was on it. I really don't know what kind of springs they was. I know they was Landrum springs in the rear, but as far as rates and how old they were, we don't know. So that was just a car that we put together, and that was, about the time I was saving my lunch money up for to have the motors built and all that. So shortly after that is when we got the yellow 26 car right here. We showed you a door panel of it in the field in the video prior to this one. It was a dirty white boy chassis that was a copy of a Masterbuilt. And, I ran it like this for about a year or so and had some fun learning the 4-bar systems and the rack and pinion steering. It's completely different than them Camaros and Malibus and all that. So it was fun to learn and definitely a good learning car because by the end of the year it was rough and you're about to see, what happened to the car after that year. We brought it back and as you can see right here, I cut the front snout off of it that you seen laying in the field down there and put this Camaro snout under it, and we went ahead and turned we updated the 4-bar suspension on the back. Uh, Matter of fact, I believe they had to be 3 links. So instead of being 4-link, I updated it to a 3-link suspension, put a solid pull bar to the front, and actually had some pretty good runs with this car. I know when we showed up at Talladega, we ran good, but when I ran at Fife and all that, there was one night I actually tried to knock the wall down, and I really thought I broke the car in half, but we won't get into that. So that was a really good car, and had a lot of fun with both of these. And okay, so once we sold the clip car that you saw previously, this was the next car that we moved up to. This was an '06 GRT. This is actually the GRT that I showed you that's sitting up there in the barn right there. This car right here I credit this car and all for the reason that I have a pain in my tail because I posted this picture right here on Facebook shortly after I bought this car, and my wife now decided she wanted to comment on the picture. And make a long story short, that's how me and Dallas met. So for those of you that have been wanting to know that or wondering that, there's the story for us. But anyways, this was the first I feel like true race car that we had as such as a late model. This is the year. This was right around Christmas of 2011, and we always say that my first full-time racing was 2012. Prior to 2012, I just kind of, uh, you know, raced when I could. I might do good to race 5 or 6 times a year in those cars that you seen previous to this. And so 2012 was probably about the first time we hit, 15, 16 races that year. So I credit this as being my first full-time season. So right here, somebody was asking where I came up with the number 27. This wrap right here was 2012 season. This was the first full year in the GRT. What we done, we took a picture of my dad's Camaro from the very first video of this series that has dairy bar on the side of it that we thought was a sharp car. We took that picture to our wrap guy and told him to replicate that car the best that he could. And we never told my dad we was gonna swap back over to 27, and that was what he came up with. Right here, this was North Georgia the next year, and from here on, it's just a couple of quick pictures of the cars that I've had from there on. Most of them was all that GRT, just with different bodies or wraps on them, all the way up to the orange GRT. That was when we retired the '06. We got the orange GRT, ran it for about a year, then we moved on to another car, and then finally ended up with the Capital that we have now. So this is going to wrap up the slideshow video here. We kind of covered every car that has been in our family, from all the way from my dad's very first car all the way to the car that we've got currently. It's pretty cool to look back on all these, and hope you guys enjoyed the slideshow and some tidbits that was included while we was walking around the property and showing you everything. It's crazy to think, when you saw them first pictures of my dad's cars and him talking about how the fields were cleaned off and there wasn't no pine trees, to where now when you see the videos like where I was walking around the sawmill and just kind of showing you around the barn how everything has grew up so fast, and just in 10 years it's grew up a lot. It's crazy how field pines and all take over. So it's pretty cool, but we've actually found some old videos of back when I was racing them Camaros and stuff, and I was gonna try to put them on here, but the quality is so poor you can't really see anything. So we just kind of throw these pictures together. Hope you guys enjoyed them all, and hope you guys enjoyed listening to me and my dad talk. We're gonna kind of turn it back over to some shop talk right here to end this series up. Hope if there's anything we didn't cover good enough, or that you guys would like to know more about, make sure you comment down below and let us know. Other than that, I think we're gonna call it good on the blast from the past, or the trip from memory lane, as Dallas called. Yeah, trip down memory lane, as Dallas called it. So.
Alright guys, so since we had several people commenting on the jig, here's the jig. Brad's got his bed cover over half of it. But it goes all the way back there.
Well, if you're wondering where the rear end out from under the van is down there in the field, it's right there.
Under the jig.
Just so we can get it out of the shop.
And that jigged a 14 rocket, blue-gray rocket. Alright guys, so we've already done the ride around the yard and kind of show you guys everything, showed you guys the shop, motor, all kinds of fun stuff. Now we're going to get to a couple of these questions that we had. I feel like we had more, maybe we just lost them somewhere because we couldn't find where they were, but these are the only two that I could find. So if we don't answer your question, we apologize. Ask it again and we'll answer it in the next video. But the first question is, excuse you. The first question is, how did you come up with the number 27 and what is the history behind that number?
Well, originally I started out as 15. And I started out as 15. I started out as 15 because that was my football number. Whenever we was choosing jerseys and all in high school for football, that was one of the lowest. That was the closest number I could find to 8, so I got 15. And that was when I started racing. I started out with 15. Well, then what?
13.
2012?
No, 13.
2013? 2013 we done a wrap.
No, 12.
That's what I thought.
12.
2012 we done a wrap, and it was going to be a throwback to one of my dad's race cars that that we always thought was a really good looking race car. It was a Camaro, and it had a metallic. It was a silver, like a metallic flake looking color, and we done a throwback wrap to it and didn't tell him, and we just put 27 on it. when we put 27 on it, we just stuck with it after that. That was his number when he was racing and when he was playing football. So we just stuck with it and decided not to change it back and forth and all that, and just kind of made 27 our own. So.
Okay. So another question that we had was also was what exactly exactly was it that led you to buy a Capital versus one of the other chassis brands, and are you happy with the decision to go in that direction?
100% happy with it, for sure. You know, there were several times last year throughout the season that we got to qualify or either hot lap qualify for a starting spot in the feature. And in years past, I've always struggled with qualifying. Qualifying has been my weakest point, and I believe every time we qualified on the pole with it, didn't we? At Talladega. Now, you know, that's not counting I-75 and Smoky Mountain when we went up there.
Two tracks we had never been to before. Right,
so, and technically, if you want to count Boyd's, we technically qualified on the front row. We just got DQ'd for a soft tire. So, anyways, 100% happy with the decision. I guess what led me to that was the fact that the major chassis brands, I guess, quote unquote, I was not interested in. I had a little bit of dealings with one of them in the past, and just wasn't sold on it, wasn't crazy about it as far as customer support and information there. So that kind of knocked that one out. And the other main one, I just didn't really, you know, I had came off of a knockoff car that was a copy of it and wasn't really happy with it either. So I didn't, you know, not saying nothing bad about the big name brand, it was just, I didn't want to go that route. I knew Capital had pretty much their own design, and I'll go ahead and say it, the CVR had their own design. So that was my two choices right there when I was looking for another car. Just kind of worked out that when we ended up not having a car and had the money to buy one, we ran across this car, and at the time there was no CVRs for sale that was used that was in my price range. So,
and really at the time we weren't really one more versus the other. We were really equal.
I was really just weighing the options out as far as both of them two chassis, and I would have been happy with either one. I feel like, you know, I know Matt pretty well at CVR, and I've talked to Chip several times, so I think that would have been a good choice. But super happy with this Capital car. You know, Marshall, all those guys over there, they've been great to work with and deal with. Charles, Hank, and you know, so I have no complaints, and I would do it again in a heartbeat. But
one of your greater friends now is probably Hank. Y'all talk all the time. If Brad's ever got a message, I know exactly who it is. I'm like, who's that, Hank?
Yeah, pretty much. We talk quite a bit, and a lot of times it won't even be about racing stuff. I mean, it'll be
life stuff, period.
Just in general stuff. So super happy with it, and don't regret the decision at all. Hoping to redeem ourselves at the Bama Bash versus what we done at the Ice Bowl. You know, the way I look at it is you know, when out-of-towners come to race with us, I love that. That's my favorite thing, is people coming from out of town to race. And I feel like, you know, same as if, say, like, you know, me or another Talladega normal goes to another racetrack. I feel like those guys that are at their home racetrack, they're feeling the same way I do when people come over here to race with us. This is my home track. This is, you know, it's my job to defend it, and I don't want somebody coming out of town taking our money. You know, that's just the way I look at it.
And the old saying goes, to be the best, you got to beat the best.
That's exactly right. So we definitely was not the best at the Ice Bowl. We got embarrassed and pretty much got our tail handed to us. So we got some redeeming to do. To getting that put back where it was, getting a fresh set of shocks put on it, and fresh set of tires, and like I said, I gotta go back down there and redeem myself, because I feel like I got embarrassed at the Ice Bowl, and I think everybody agrees with that as well. So, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the tour of the back 40, as some would say, you know, the little shop down there, that's where it started. That was where I grew up watching my dad and my uncles both race out of, and I remember, you know, I remember growing up when I was a little older than Maggie before I started remembering, but not much older than her. I remember going down there on Saturdays and Friday nights and sitting in the car and sitting in that Malibu, pretending to be going around the racetrack and all of that. And you know, there's a lot of memories there. And then when I grew up and got older, I guess me and my dad first started building that Camaro probably when I was in 7th, 8th grade. So that would have been, I don't know, 03, 04 roughly. And we worked on that thing forever until Fife opened up there. It was called a hobby stock class where you had to run stock frame, stock hubs. Whereas the Camaro, it was a jig rear clip, but the front snout had to be stock, but you could run, you know, racing hubs and spindles and A-arms and all that. And definitely had a lot of learning. We learned a lot down there, like the Malibu and the Camaro. You know, it's crazy to think about now, and I was just thinking about it last night when we talked. When we was talking about the Malibu and showing the Malibu, that Malibu's never been on a set of scales. That Camaro I had, it never went on a set of scales.
A set of scales.
Yeah, set of scales.
Set of scales.
Yeah, so, you know, it's kind of crazy to think now, you know, people claim they don't put their cars on scales now, but, you know, I feel like you need to put the car on the scales at least once just to see what your percentages and all are. But
and get a weight.
We have no idea what the percentages was on them two cars, and I think a set of scales would have helped us out a lot, but we just didn't have any. So
you didn't know a whole lot about racing, and y'all were truly backyard racing.
I mean, yeah, we was learning, but I mean, you know, you got to start somewhere. And back on, kind of to go back 180 degrees almost, was, you know, talking about that 406 that we was talking about. Obviously, that was nowhere close to being legal, but I'd already blown that 350 up. I went through another junkyard 350 and blowed it up, so it was kind of a last resort. We had it sitting around, and
money was an issue.
Money, yeah. I mean, my lunch money went from $5 a day to $3 a day, so I had to do what I had to do, and we had it sitting there, and I bought a set of rings and bearings for it, and just one of them cylinder honers that goes on the drill, and rehoned the cylinder walls, and I put my set of heads on it and went racing, and I mean, it worked, you know, but I guess about the fourth race, it had enough. So racing season starts, that's when the videos will kind of pick back up. You know, it's just, we're really at a standstill here in the shop. Everything's pretty much ready to go, so.
And we really don't want to bore you guys with just
the same thing over and over and over. So that's why we're doing this, to try to kind of, to give you guys some insight on where we came from and where we started, and you know, where we're at right now. And you know, obviously everybody's goal is to be a full-time racer, I think, but you know, whether we ever make it there or not, that's another story. I think the driver's gonna have to get a little bit better before we do that.
Now she's licking wheels.
That kid, she takes after her mama, guys.
No, she don't.
If you haven't already, make sure you check out our Spreadshirt account. Dallas has got a t-shirt on. You can't get that exact t-shirt on the Spreadshirt, but you can get one very similar to it. It's print to order. As soon as you order it, they print it, they ship it straight to you. Shipping's like, what, $6, $7 roughly? She found your dog.
On my belly.
They'll ship it straight to you. You got hats, t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, backpacks, all kinds of good stuff. Check that out. There's a link in the description for that.
We will have these at the track.
Yes, we do got a limited supply of these. I mean, we don't have very many, but they will be with us at the racetrack for sale.
I know last year we really didn't have a whole lot of t-shirts, but we do have some now, just a couple.
But anyways, if you want to send us any hats or t-shirts yourself, we got a P.O. box number below in the description. We've had a couple people ask about that. I'm a extra large. Dallas is what, a medium?
Medium to wear like blue jeans, large to wear with leggings.
Okay, medium or a large for Dallas. My dad would be a large. Joel, he's a 3.
Huh?
Joel's a 3.
2.
2?
2X.
Okay, Joel's a 2. Sorry, Joel.
2. I think he's
Joel's
ordered
either a
both.
2 or a 3X. I can't remember.
Both.
And I think Brandon's a 2X as well. So.
Let's just say you're not gonna hurt our feelings if you send us a shirt and it's the wrong size. We'll find
No,
somebody
yeah,
that can wear it.
somebody will wear it. So
I can wear a small.
You're not gonna hurt our feelings, but like I said, I know there's a couple people that asked that. So you can find our P.O. box below in the description. You can get that stuff sent to us. Anything else, Dal?
No. Sorry, we're exploring.
Yeah, we got an explorer on her hand. She's learning, so we got to keep up with her. And she only talks when we're doing videos. She'll talk a little bit during the day when we're not doing videos, but when we start doing videos, she really starts talking. So she must like all of you guys. So, but anyways, we appreciate all of you watching. Make sure you hit the like, share, subscribe button. Ring the bell for notifications. Maggie, where's your bell? Magnolia.
Maggie, where's your bell? Come on.
Where's your bell?
So get your bell. Come on. Get it. Come on. Come on. Come on. Where'd it go?
Do you know?
I don't know. No, where's your bell?
What are you doing? Oh, here it is.
Oh, there's your bell.
Here, Maggie.
Maggie.
Here, come here. Come here. Here. You got it? Look. Hold it. Tell them, say ring the bell. Say ring the bell so you get the notifications. There you go. Good job. All right.
Put it up. Ring the bell.
Thank you guys for watching.